Okay, so good morning. I'm Matt Nelson. I'm the Coordinator and Community Engagement Manager for It Takes a City. We're a charity based in Cambridge. Essentially, we look to bring people together to discuss areas that are of specific interest to particular groups within the homelessness sector. And also we provide some services now. Since COVID started, we actually started to provide some services. Okay, so It Takes a City are a fairly new charity. Central to what we do is we convene and we coordinate. So we have what are called action groups, and they are based around specific issues. So for example, women, young people, housing. We pull together those experts, be it through lived experience or because they work in the sector. We debate. We look at what the issues are, and often what comes out of that is there's a service that's needed. Some help needs to be given, and this is what needs to happen. Now, it may be that an existing organisation can pick that service up, and they'll do so. But if we need to find funding and we need to find an organisation to host that project, that's what we'll do. So that's at the core of It Takes a City. But what we also do is promoting. So for example, you'll hopefully see around the city very soon some business cards that give all the details about street support. So we really promote how the different ways that people can access support for homeless people. But what's happened during the COVID pandemic is that we provided staff and support at Master's House. Now, if you go to our new website, you'll see the story of Master's House, but essentially that was an 80-room student accommodation block, which we used during everybody in. So we're moving more into providing services now where they're needed. There are a number. The first is prejudice and how you overcome that prejudice. We've spoken about that already. But also, if we're honest, the system can sometimes be quite fragmented, especially if you're new, you're recently on the streets or recently homeless. It can be quite difficult to navigate. So we have a number of people tell us that 3 or 4 times in the same day they go from pillar to post. Essentially, they're reliving their trauma. They're already traumatised for whatever reason, and then they have to tell their story again and again. There's a lot being done in the city to try and streamline and smooth those kinks in the process out so that people aren't being traumatised. But then it's really just starting to try to rebuild their lives. They have to start that journey themselves. You know, often if it's substance misuse or alcohol or a number of other reasons, they need to accept the help, but also they need to know that the help is being given with love, with kindness and with understanding. It Takes a City have just formed and incorporated a community land trust. So what It Takes a City specifically are doing, we are working with a number of other organisations like the New Meaning Foundation and Jimmy's to build and locate the modular homes you may have heard about. So that's one thing that It Takes a City are doing. We're looking at, hopefully over the next 20 years, building and locating many, many more of those. But also we're looking at other ways that we can grow the options for people. The pandemic has shown that we can no longer, especially during cold weather, we can't have 15, 20 people sleeping on a church floor with no dignity, no privacy, and the potential there for infection to spread. So we need to move away from that model, and It Takes a City with our partners. We're looking at ways that, especially in cold weather, we can provide that dignity, that comfort and that safety. I don't believe you'll ever eradicate street homelessness and hidden homelessness. There are things that we can do as charities and as organisations on the ground to help, but it's a much, much bigger picture with a large and a small p. It's political. So will we ever eradicate it? No. What can you as a student do? Again, get yourself informed. Campaign. Okay, campaign locally, campaign nationally. We clearly have a housing issue that is more than just homelessness. It's about young people like yourself trying to make a start in life, get on what's called the property ladder. So it's how you can campaign to increase those options of genuinely affordable accommodation. Inform yourself, help us by curbing those misconceptions, challenge people, debate with them, keep it keep it calm, keep it nice, but make sure, if you hear somebody a bit like racism or sexism or homophobia, it's a prejudice that you need to tackle. But also with It Takes a City, visit our website, which is ittakesacity.org.uk, and you can see there the whole range of work that we do, but also if you want to volunteer, you want to help, and we're not the appropriate group to come to, we'll signpost you on. So we'll make sure that your energy and your passion is directed in the right direction.